All right. I officially got it live now on YouTube. All right, cool. Had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we finally got it together. Let me actually make sure it's up here for sure. I'm about to pull it up on my computer. And I'm sorry for that echo. Now I know it's working good. Sorry about that. All right, let me get 1 second, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. Actually, I might as well go ahead and drop this link in my Sinners chat and let everybody know that we're about to go live. It's crazy. It's my first time, my first official like YouTube live stream for real. Your boy ain't never been live on YouTube before, so we about to get it cracking. We got you. That's something too. So, I can be straight. All right, let's see. All right, let me drop this in here. And let's go ahead and get right into it. Let me make sure it's not an echo or nothing either. It shouldn't be, but I should be straight. All right, so as you guys already know, let me start over. Give y'all like an actual real intro. So once again, every Sunday from here on out, you guys can expect live trading session. Well, live market breakdown analysis from me, going over all the indice pairs, SPX, US 30, NAS 100, NAS 100. Wow, what am I talking about? NAS 100 and Germany 40. So last week, I didn't do the live trading session, but I did give you guys an actual Sunday market outlook setup. And safe to say, with some beautiful moves going across all of the indices, right? So looking at SPX, you can see like Sunday, this was the first original setup I called out for you guys. Was entering off of the support and resistance levels, was looking at the zones, and you can literally see like how far the market took off since the original. I can't remember the exact entry that I gave y'all, but I know it had to been one of them had to been at least outside of breaking out of the zone. So from here to here, SPS alone took off for about 1,000 pips. And then currently, if you are selling that trade, you're up 800 pips off of that one move, right? But my personal favorite, the trade that I'm actually still in, if you're still in the US 30 move with me, we're up 10,000 pips off of this move. Like that's a crazy swing trade that we was able to catch this week off of the charts. But like I always like to say too, like new week means new results. So everything that happened last week was cool, but I'm gonna play it as if I'm entering a trade still for the new week, or this is my first time hopping on the charts, and I need me to give me a fire setup. So that's what we're gonna be looking at today. So I'm gonna start it off with SPX, and then we're gonna work our way down. So across everything though, it's one or two things I want y'all to pay attention to. Where are we at currently on the chart? So I'm gonna get rid of my moving averages right now, just because we don't really need it. Let's come over here. Currently on the charts, when we look at it on a 4 hour, if we look at it on a 4 hour, or if we even come to the day chart, we can clearly see we're at the main resistance level, right? So typically, most people say when we get to resistance, we look for sales on the charts. We expect the markets to sell off. We're expecting downtrend moves to happen. But in our scenario, what we're going to be waiting for, there's two things that happened on the charts over the weekend. The market decided to gap. It closed lower than where the market was actually at on Friday. So for tonight's analysis, what I'm going to be looking for is some form of a retest back to the close of that gap. So I'm expecting some form of a retest back to the top of this zone right here, back to the key resistance level of 60.95. And the special thing about this area is because it's kind of like a moment of truth area. Actually, I could still call out a trade too for you to scout, but it's kind of like a moment of truth area, right? We have a market that gap. So we're going to be looking for buys once it closes back above here. And we're going to be able to scout the buys for another, I believe this should be about 200 pips back to the upside. But this is the moment of truth I'm talking about. If it retests this zone and fails to close back above this price of 60.95 or 6100 area, then we know that we could potentially start looking for long-term downtrends coming on SPS 500. But in that same breath, excuse me, if the market does decide to break above the zone, come back to retest the zone, and closes above the zone, then we can continue to look for the overall uptrend across our indices. Same thing, like we're already here for SPX, but when we're looking at NAS 100, it technically still had little to rooms to go on the charts before we actually like looked for those reversals. When I looked at US 30, same thing. It still has room to go before it looks like for the main reversals for those sales. And then same thing with Journey 40. This one had already broken out its resistance levels. So ultimately, I'm already kind of like leaning more towards the uptrend and sticking with the uptrend until the markets are all in alignment and showing us that it's actually ready to take off for those sales. Until it starts giving us those lower highs and lower lows, then we'll know that, okay, cool, we're sticking with the uptrend. We're only going to focus on our uptrend setups. And for my Academy members that's on the live right now, make sure you guys, if you haven't already, make sure you guys go ahead and watch the remastered version that I did on the higher highs and higher low setup and lower highs and lower low setup. That's such a tongue twister, bro. But make sure you do yourself a service. Go ahead and look and watch that video, because I'm not playing when I say like that video alone is gonna be the reason why y'all start making salary off of trading, 6 figures off of trading, creating millionaires off of trading, just off of understanding the trend line structure, understanding what the overall trend of the market is showing you and what the market is doing. So, enough of me rambling, right? Let me actually get into the premise of this. Let's actually get into what are the setups that I'm looking for tonight. What is the main plays I'm going to actually call for the signals chat, as well as what I'm looking for y'all. So first, let me draw my zone. Like I said, this is technically that main high right here. The market gap closed back inside. This was the last main higher low point on the chart, aka this was the last main support level before we saw the nice buys that took off for, I believe, what, 400 pips? Yeah, so that took off for 400 pips. So now that we're back at that same support level, it's kind of like the market's made it easy for us to like take the trades, right? So all we're going to be looking for is what is going to happen when the market closes back inside this zone. And actually, instead of like looking for the buys immediately right here, I'm going to wait for the market to come up to 60.75. If we get a candlestick that closes back above this zone, and then we proceed to have a bullish engulfing candlestick, 60.75 is going to be my buy entry that I'm going to look for SPX. And then the stop loss is always going to be 100 pips no matter what. So the stop loss is going to be at 60.65. And then for TP, it's so crazy like looking at this now. So remember what I told y'all, I'm going to give you my standard TP 1 through 4, but we're going to keep in mind what happens. Like this is going to be a moment of truth later on today during London session. And that's going to determine if we end up holding these trades longer than what we need to, or if it's actually time to start looking for those reversals. So first, let me go ahead and set these TPs and change the price on them. Change the color on them, so that way I don't get confused. So each different black line represents a different level that you could choose to take profit at. Each one of these are my standard take profit goals that I set, whether that's 50 pips, 100 pips, 150 pips, or 200 pips on the charts. So that's like my overall goal that I always typically go for on the charts, right? So for you guys, it just so happened TP 1 through 4, and I'm gonna change this line to orange because this is our retest line. But TP 1 through 4 represents our 4 retests back to that previous zone structure. So remember, this is the key resistance level. If the market fails to break outside of this zone, this will also become an area that we could potentially look for sales off of this zone right here. So cool. We scout the buys tonight during London session. TP1, TP2, TP3, TP4 smash for 200 pips. Boom. After TP1 through 4 smash, if it fails to break above this zone, then great. We're going to start looking for those sales. And then we're going to look for the sales immediately once it comes back outside the zone to the downside here. So for starters, let me actually make sure I save these, because I'm going to make sure I put this in the signals chat in a few. Let me move me out the way. Let me just download all these. So make sure y'all, if you watching me straight from YouTube, make sure y'all just screenshot, take a picture of this, do whatever you want. If you're in the Academy or send a chat, I will be dropping these charts as well, so you don't gotta feel rushed to like actually make sure you're not missing this. So this is gonna be the first setup I'm giving you. So the buys, we're already at the beautiful support at the previous higher low structure. If it comes back above this zone, we're gonna look for the buys at 60.75, and then we're gonna take it to at least TP4 for 200 pips. Now, if it ends up closing above this zone, right, I'm gonna give you out more TPs, but it's also gonna be not only just more TPs, but another entry that you can take instead. So the second entry option is gonna be at 6,100, and I believe I gave this setup in the Signal chat already. Can't remember at the moment, but I'm pretty sure I did, but just in case I didn't, I'm giving it to y'all again. So the second entry, if it breaks above the zone, then we know the market is getting ready to go for the bull run, and we're going to be looking for that overall trend move again. So the second buy entry, or if you're like, hey, I don't want to take this entry right here, I'd rather just wait for the second one. Cool, you can do that too. That's also perfect, right? So what I want you to do, be cautious, be more safe. You wait for the second entry. If the market breaks above 6,100, you go ahead and take the buys at 6,100. Your take profit one is going to be 61.05, 61.10 for TP2, 61.15 for TP3, and then the one and only TP4 snacking for another 200 pips at 61.20. And then your stop loss for that second entry is going to be 61.90. Remember what I said, no matter what, my entry and stop loss is always going to be 100 pips apart, no matter what, just because I like to let my trade breathe and let the markets do what it do on the charts overall. So this is the buy entry, option number 2. I'm gonna download this and make sure I put it in there later. Last but not least, I almost bit my tongue. Last but not least, I'm gonna rewind all this real quick. So we talked about what will happen if the market doesn't break the zone. So if the market fails to break the zone, I want you guys to focus on looking for the sales. And the sales, as you can see here, so you can see to the left, will be obviously the market's here. So you can see on Friday, this was like the wick show you where the support level was at, where the key price level was at. So what I want us to focus on before we actually enter the sales and before we actually look for the reversals, we're gonna want, I really drew the zone all the way across. Hold on one second. I'm like, where's this bot set? We're gonna wait and see how the market respects this support level. So this is gonna be my mini zone that I'm looking for. So I'm gonna let the market push up. We're gonna take profit at 200 pips. Great. The market decides to retest. If it breaks and closes back outside of this zone, we can go ahead and look for the sales around, it's crazy because 60.85 will be my ideal sell entry, but I want to make sure that we're not going to get caught in this just being a higher low and just missing out on the opportunity to just hop back in for the buy. So still what I'm going to do is, just to make sure the move is actually ready, we're going to make our sell entry at 60.80. So that way that gives us more than enough time for the market to push out and really confirm that it's really going for those sales. And then TP1 is going to be 60.75. TP2 is going to be 60.90. 60.70, I'm sorry. And then TP3, let's go ahead and move the stop loss around. The stop loss is going to be 60.90. Boom. And then the last but not least one, TP4 is going to be 60.60. And this goes without saying, if we do end up catching this breakout for the sales, right? As the market pushed back down, you clear as they could see, this was that higher low. Like even if tonight, if we see tonight that it doesn't push any further and it decides to miss this support level, this is going to be the sweet spot for the next coming days of the week, right? So when you start to see the markets trading, if this ends up playing as the support level for tonight and the market takes off for the buys and it comes back to this support level again, 9 times out of 10, it might just bounce off of this price and go for the buys again. So I don't want you guys trying to hold the sales on this opportunity right here, trying to hope that it goes to TP4 just for it to not push the TP4, but instead just give you like one of these setups right here where it just push, hit TP3, and then all of a sudden a bull run happens and it's too late for you to close out of your trade, right? So if you do end up deciding to hold though for 200 pips for the sales, just make sure at the time, like as it starts to approach that support, just move your stop loss to break even, or why is my mouse tripping? Move your stop loss to either break even or set your stop loss at TP1 or TP2, whichever one is your preference. So that is officially the first main 3 setups I'm going to be looking for this week for SPX. Before I move on to the other ones, feel free to just, actually, y'all ain't got to wait. Whenever y'all want, just feel free to just drop your questions or comments in the actual chat box. And I'm over here, like, periodically I'm looking over just to make sure like I'm not missing anything. But for right now, everybody seems like they're good. And I just realized it might be a delay on here too. I just thought about that. So once the delay is over with, feel free to drop it and I'm going to read it as I'm still going. All right. So next up, we got Nas 100. Nas 100, same thing we talked about with SPX, but it's a little bit different, like I said before, because this one was nowhere near its resistance level yet before the gap happened. SPX is already at its gap. Nas 100 isn't at the gap yet. So for this pair in particular, I'm really looking at this as just being like the gap that happened on the charts is kind of like a retest for me, like off of a higher low. If I showed you my fibs, for many of you guys know I like to use my fibs. So for me, it's kind of approaching, it's sitting right on my 61% level, and it's already at an area where I'm like, cool, you bounce off of this. I look for the buys once you decide to close the gap. It's the same as that principle that we saw over here in SPX. If SPX closed that gap, great. We're going to be looking for the buys again. We're going to be taking our buys to the upside. So the same thing is going to go for Nas 100. For those that don't know, Nas 100 and SPX 500 literally move in sync, right? So if those pairs move in sync, 9 times out of 10, the same analysis will apply over here for Nas. The only difference is Nas is more fun to trade because it's more volatile. And since it's more volatile, that's more money in our pockets, more money for us to make out the charts, right? So let me go ahead and draw the zone again. And you can see this one even a little bit better because this zone, if I drag it over here to the left of the chart, in the past, this was a previous resistance structure, right? It was an area that played as a lower high standpoint. The market constantly kept retesting that lower high, kept giving us a retest, kept giving us a pullback, retested it one last time, and then took off further buys that we saw all the way to the top of the zone here. And once it broke above this zone, it took off for 3,000 pips. So for today, y'all better get it set up for another 3,000 pips. And actually, keep this in mind too. This trade right here is no longer valid. So if you're in my center chat, you're watching this setup is no longer valid. Even during the week, as I started to see how the market was moving, I should have been gave you a better buy entry, which would have been off of this zone right here, but I didn't even get a chance to put it in there. I was just so focused on the swings where you were starting. SPX that I did not update y'all with this breakout. But so like if you're looking at this now, like, oh, he gave us another buy setup. No, I did not. Don't take that buy entry. You're not taking this one. Focus on this main one that I'm gonna give y'all right here. So the moment Nas 100 breaks and close outside this zone again, we'll be looking for the buys. So for SPX, I saw that my stop loss was 100 pips. Nas 100, my stop loss is anywhere between 250 to 500 pips. Not because of risk management per se, but more so, well, partially risk management, but also just because I understand I need to let my trade breathe so the market can do what it do, and my trade can have breathing room to make the move that I want to make. No risk, no reward, right? So if I'm looking at a stop loss of 500 pips, I told y'all really my standard is I'm going for around 2,000 pips on this move alone. So that's great. That's a great risk to reward ratio when it comes to trading Nas. Now, for my people that's like, Abe, I just want to scalp. I just want to hit TP1. I don't need to hold the trade that long. I don't want to be a swing trader. I got you. TP1 is set to 350 pips. TP2 is going to be 679. Oops. I'm tripping. Perfect. TP3 is going to be 950. Good and cool. Nobody got no questions right now. Perfect. 1,200. All right. And the 1,200 pips is usually technically my standard. That's typically what I always set as my standard TP no matter what on the charts. But like I said, if we saw to the left of the chart, this was that previous zone that the market took out to for 3,000 pips. I'm going to give you guys 2 more like take profit goals. So this is my standard. This is the typical 1,200 pips that I typically go for. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys, actually, no, wait. I lie. I'm going to give you all my 1,500 TP, and then I'm going to give you all the 2,000 pip TP. And then there's going to be the final one that's actually just going to be like a bonus TP if the market does indeed, whoops, if the market does indeed go ahead and take off for, actually, why is this right here? You know what? I'm not gonna worry about it right now. 2000. All right. So at this point, you can see like we're literally right back on that resistance, but the extent of this main lower high move is going to be right here. So if you decide to hold it for that full swing trade for 3,000 pips, be my guest. I'm going to go ahead and make this yellow just like as a bonus TP if you choose to accept. Bonus, take profit. Boom. Let me leave you out that. All right, so that's gonna be the NAS 100 one, the official NAS 100 trade. It's crazy. I could call another setup as well for if it decides to continue to sell off here, but I think we'll see how that looks tomorrow. So tomorrow when we on the call and stuff, once I'm actually in the center chat and everything, talking to you guys over there, if it ends up selling off tonight, I'll just go ahead and call like a buy off of the higher low. But for right now, I'm gonna focus on what I do see in this moment, and that's just the gap. And this is just a potential area that's a support level. And honestly, depending on how long we done, like when we done with the this call, if it's still like in this area, I might give y'all like an earlier buy entry on this one as well. But for today on this one, honestly, I'm trying to see. You know what? I'm about to draw the play out. So I haven't done this in a long time. So it's actually going to be the first time I've done this in a while. So I'm going to talk you through this. So thought process. The gap decides to close. We're going to be looking for the break back above here. TP1 is going to smack. TP2 is going to smack. TP3 is going to smack. TP4 is going to smack for 1,200 pips. Then after the 1,200 pips happen, NAS 100 loves to give us a pullback. So during this pullback, this is when we're going to see the market start to sell off on the charts. After it starts to sell off, right? So there's going to be one or two things we're going to be seeing. So we're either going to be looking to see, and this one is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to actually give y'all a sell setup based off of before it comes all the way back to the zone. Just because obviously this pair is more volatile, so we can have more fun with this entry. SPS, I told you I'll wait for the zone breakout here, but NAS, I'm going to actually give it to you guys right at 2,700 for this sell entry. Boom. So that's a 1,200 pip move for the buys. Here go the sell entry that we're going to look. If it retests this 1,200 pip mark and it fails to close back above here and it starts to retest for that sell, we're going to look to take the sales because the market is going to be creating a lower high, and then we'll look to take the sales off of the top of that zone. Now, here's the kicker. That 1,200 pips that we caught, we're going to catch another 1,200 pips back to that same support structure, back to that previous zone that the market broke out of, right? And this is typically, for my people that's in the chat, y'all already know, this is typically around the time where I say like, oh, look to take the same exact sell setup, but instead, look to take the same exact buy setup that we took earlier in the day. That's going to be exactly what we're going to be looking for over here. So we're going to take the sales back down to the support level after we got done taking the buys to 1,200 pips. And off of that second entry, that's when you're going to want to look to hold the trade for the full move. So the first move, you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to just go for 1,200 pips. I'm going to be in and out of trade. Unless we can clearly see that the market is moving with momentum, then that's one thing. But if it's not moving with momentum, you're starting to see that it pushes up and it hit the retest spot and it starts to sell off, then you're like, okay, cool. Let me just go ahead, take profit. I'm going to look for the sales, and then I'm going to take it back to this zone. And then now we're going to look for that full swing after that, back to that bonus TP. And the reason why I say that is because, speaking from experience myself, like, there's been a lot of times where I'm patient. So if I'm holding a swing trade, I'm cool with holding a swing trade and just being caught in drawdown or getting caught in a retest back to my same price. But then I started to realize, like, dang, bro, like I was up 120,000 on this. Cool. I could have took profit on that, sold, caught another 120,000. Now I'm at 240 on the day. And then I could have entered the same position again and took it back to the main official move that I was looking for. Versus me just holding my first move and just trying to just swing trade that for 500K. And the whole time I could be scalping and make my money on the way up and down to that same price area. Feel me? So once I realized that and started thinking from that approach, I know that's something that probably can help you guys too. As you're starting to like learn how to really just maximize the charts and maximize your profits. Cause like for me, I know when I was starting out, greed was the biggest factor. So you can literally take your profit, make your money for however many minutes it took you to catch that 200 pips, take profit, get in and out of the setup, re-enter the trade if the opportunity presents itself. Keyword, if the opportunity presents itself. We're not going to force it, but if the move comes, then you take the setup that you want. But if it doesn't come, then you just have to adjust to what the market is showing you. All right, so I had to make sure I downloaded that. So that's going to be the main two moves I'm going to be looking for Nas 100 tonight. Buys, great. If it retests and break back outside the zone, well, if it retests and starts selling off again, we're going to look to the sell. Boom, 1,200 pips. And then also, if the moves decide to continue, we see momentum is great for the sales. News comes out. We have a lot of news, and actually, I'm glad I just thought about that because I didn't even talk about that over here in the call. But there's a lot of news getting ready to come out later on in the week. So Monday and Tuesday, there's not really a lot of, well, Monday is not really a lot of New York news coming out. Tuesday, you can see we have CB consumer confidence at 10 a.m. and the S&P composite. Like, this news is important. Like, really, all from 8:30 to 10, market is going to be jumping, right? And then Wednesday, same thing. Federal funds rate, FOMC statement, FOMC press conference. Big news is going to be making the market move. And then Thursday, right back after that, we have the Euro news is dropping. During London session, we have the Euro news dropping during New York. And then once again, US news back to back. So literally, it's going to be a very volatile week on the charts, which means it's going to be a lot of money to be made off of the indices. So I just want to make sure y'all understand that there's not going to be no reason for us to rush any setups and just trying to like rush opportunities when we don't need to, because the market is going to give us the exact play that we want to get anyway on the charts. All you got to do is be patient, right? So next up, we got US 30, my bread and freaking butter. So over here, as you can see, this one in particular, remember how we talked about being patient? When I talk about me looking for US 30 setups, I'm very particular. I'm very, this is where you can say like, oh, hey, you're bougie. This is when I become bougie when it comes to the certain plays that I look for on the US 30 chat, right? And let me make sure I'm looking over here. All right, nobody said anything in the chat. Remember, if y'all got any questions, if y'all just watching, bet, cool. But if y'all got any questions, do not hesitate to drop it. But for me, I'm very particular about my US 30 setups. So there's gonna be there's really only one main move that I like right now on the charts. As you can see, last week, what I wanted to see on the charts was, this was the previous zone, and then the market was consolidating around that zone. So I was cool. Like, if you give me a fake breakout and come back inside, I take the buys. As you can see here, it did indeed come back inside. TP1 smash, came back. It just kept consolidating and kept starting to form lower highs on the charts. Now, once it broke out and started creating that downtrend movement, now we're getting to an area where I'm like, okay, I understand it now. I see what you're trying to do. And I know personally, like, what I would want to wait for if I need to enter another US 30 position. And this is going to be a move I'm going to look for tonight. US 30 loves break and retest back to a zone. I repeat, US 30 loves the break and retest back to the zone. So here, as you can see, we had a beautiful breakout. Now we're getting that beautiful retest. And I'm expecting the market to close back above the zone, creating us a beautiful another higher low setup. And then from here, we'll be looking for the buys off of this chart. That's all I'm waiting for. Even if US 30 decides to break inside the zone, I love it even more, because once you come back outside the zone, that's the final confirmation I need to potentially look for really extra long-term swing trades. Ultimately, I am favoring the full swing on US 30 back to 45,000. Excuse me, just because of what I saw in the day chart analysis and what I like. But that confirmation is going to come when we get this retest back to the zone. That's really going to confirm everything. Or if we never get the retest back to the zone, that's even better, right? Because that means it's creating a higher low right here, and we're going to see the markets go for the buys. But for the sake of this live and what I'm looking for to call for the signal shot tonight, we're going to look for a retest back to the zone, and we're going to look to buy around 44,184. Our stop loss is going to be back inside this zone. That should be around 500 pips. If it's not, I'm going to just bring the entry down. All right, it's spot on. So 506 pips on the charts. TP 1 through 8. I think I'm going to give you 8 TPs on this move. So the full move I'm going to be looking for at least is going to be a full move back to 3,000 pips. And then, like I said, if it does end up breaking out the zone, that is a whole nother trade I can give y'all on a whole nother day. But for right now, I am going to focus on just at the moment what we're seeing on the charts. So from here to here, my typical standard is 1,200 pips that I give y'all, but I'm going to go ahead and put it up to 2,000 pips right now. And then we're going to work our way down from there. So TP1 is going to be 370. Typically, it's always around 360 to 370, no matter what. Boom. TP2, 600, and don't like that number, 672 to 950. Great. 1,200 pips. This is about to be a lot of volatility on the markets this week. And it's not even NFP week. Like, this is the week before NFP week. So this honestly could potentially be a good thing, because NFP week, it hasn't really been slapping as much as it used to. I've been noticed there's been a lot of consolidation periods around NFP for some odd reason. I don't know why it be doing that. Go my way, but I've been noticing that it's been doing that. Unless you're trading like NAS 100 and maybe Germany 40. That's the only two I've seen for during NFP where it's like super clean. But for some reason, US30 it has been a little bit choppy. So as of right now, this is going to be the only official trade I'm going to give y'all. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. It's going to be clean. So that's going to be one of the main moves I'm looking for for US30. I'm trying to decide though. Because right now you can see like this is where the gap was at. That's why that candlestick weirds like this. And it's like, nah, it's close enough. I'm not gonna call it. My only other thought process was if this plays as a support, the moment it closes above this stretcher, we can look for a bullish engulfing and take buys at 44,280. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna focus on the higher time frame. But last but not least, we done made it to the end. Germany 40. So same thing we saw in US30. Honestly, I can really leave this where it's at. I actually really can. How many? It depends actually. How many pips is this? Germany 40, for those that don't know, this one was my coming into 2025. I told myself it was gonna be two main periods I was gonna focus on for the beginning of the year, and that was gonna be Germany 40. And the other one I couldn't decide on. I was gonna really be NAS 100, I think, or it's gonna be Germany 40 and SPX, because those are the most calm and more consistent pairs that I found that like it give you the cleanest setups no matter what. But ironically, it's really been Germany 40 and US30 that I've been trading the most to start the year off, right? But Germany 40, as you can see, like smooth market structure, smooth market structure. You can clearly see to the left of the chart here. I'm gonna walk y'all through it first before we get into, because obviously this is gonna be the same as that setup that I'm gonna give y'all, but Germany 40 is simple. It goes breakout. Two things Germany 40 do. I'm gonna show you right now. My voice is over here cracking. Your boy needs some water. Oh my goodness. It goes breakout, retest back to zone, and then breakout again. Then it goes, sometimes you'll find it'll go breakout, don't retest the zone, consolidate all throughout New York and Tokyo. London session come, breakout again. Nice sell-off, buys, consolidate, and then breakout again. That's it. That's all you need to know when it comes to trading Germany 40. This is like the most simplest way I can teach y'all how to trade Germany 40 without even just telling you all the strategies that I use. If you're in the academy, y'all know the strategies I use. But even just if you strictly just going off a price action, this alone is literally all how you got to trade Germany 40. That's it. That's all you need. So like when I come to the charts and show you, I'm on a 15 minute, I'm gonna come to the hour real quick. But you can clearly see all I gotta do is play matchmaker right now. Look, I'm gonna just drag this over here. You had that breakout. That was our breakout arrow. This is the area where we saw that it started consolidating. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this right quick. Actually, you know what? I'm not even about to do all this. But you get what I'm saying. Consolidate. it breaks out, it retests, that's that pullback back to the previous support, previous zone, breaks out again, consolidates, breaks out, retests back to support, aka previous zone, and breaks out again. Break and recess is the name of this period. Like, I've been trading this period since what, 2021, 2020, when I really started like noticing like how this period really operate. Right around the time when I started hitting my 90% accuracy mark, 100% accuracy mark on the chart, Germany 40, like every Germany 40 trade I called out clean. And that's because I understood that it just does the same thing. Break, retest. Like, what would you do if you know you can catch 1,200 pips comfortably? Like, I genuinely want to ask y'all that. What would y'all do if you know you can catch 1,200 pips comfortably? Oh my goodness, that was a tongue twister, wasn't it? What would you do if you know you can catch 200 pips comfortably on the charts? When I can enter a buy right here at 10 a.m. and by 2 p.m., I'm up 1,700 pips. And Germany 40 has really been giving people 2,000, and me personally giving me as well. I've been catching 2,000 pips, 3,000 pips on this pair. And this pair used to only give us 1,200 pips a day, or 1,200 pips for the buys and another 1,200 pips for the sales. Like, what are we really talking about? So, with that being said, this is going to be the last set I'm giving y'all. So, this is the Germany 40 buy opportunity. It's already retesting the zone. All you have to do is wait for the market to close back outside the zone. And this is going to be the buy move that we're going to look for. The only other option would be is a buy off of this higher low structure all the way down here. And for this entry right here, I'm going to give you this one too. So if it give us a full retest back to this higher low, we'll take buys at 21,260. Stop loss is going to be, that might be a little bit too steep. So stop loss is going to be about right there. Oh, it wasn't that steep. Boom. Let the trade breathe. And then ultimately, y'all going to have an opportunity for a 2,500 pip move. But I'm going to still give y'all my standard of how I go about it. So TP1, 358. TP2, 670. TP3, 970. TP4, 1,200 pips. Voila. TP5, if it lets me drag it, golly, come on, man. 1,500 pips. So I'm gonna just give y'all this 1,500 pips. But as you guys know, I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all the last one, which will just be a bonus one for the full retest all the way back to 21,513. If it gives us that full retest, that's gonna be the buy move that we're gonna look for. And that's a nice swing for 2,400 pips on the chart. So that's, like I said, bread and butter, a beautiful setup. Like, it doesn't get no better than this. So that's why I said Germany 40 is my favorite one. But ultimately, each one of these indices have the opportunity to become like one of the best indice pairs to trade it. It just comes down to like whatever your personal style is and how y'all actually like to trade. So, side note, before we get up out of here, as you can see here on SPX, it did indeed end up pushing back to that last CP4 area, where that makes this area could potentially be a support zone. So now, if we do get that buy and it closes above and we get this full retest, now we know we can look to hold it back to TP4. And that'd be a nice 200 pip move to catch right there. And I can go ahead and mark this as a solid block line. Cool. Cool. All right. That is officially the end of this market breakdown. I guess before we get off, does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns for me? And if y'all are good, just drop like a 1 in the chat so I know. Hey man, this is cool. Like, I might have had those technical difficulties at first on YouTube, but we got it rocking now, man. First official live on YouTube, man. Just the beginning. I'm gonna start having like Q&A days too, so that's gonna be cool. I mean, I know I gotta wait a little bit because like a delay. So let's see. I wonder how bad the delay is. I gotta see how, like, after this video, I'm gonna see like how far back was the delay versus when I actually stop. All right, so I'm assuming nobody got no questions. I'm assuming everybody good. So feel free to watch this video back. Obviously, if y'all want to get the free setups. And then yeah, I think I'm gonna end it with that. So I'll catch y'all next week, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Going live, free market analysis for all the indice pairs. And then let me know too in the comments after the video is done and stuff. Let me know if y'all want me to do currency pairs, because I can go ahead and keep going with currencies. I can give y'all metals. And honestly, you know what? I might do indices and I might do crypto, because I do got the free crypto chat anyway. So actually, I'm glad we on here right now. So this is the last thing. I'm gonna end y'all off with this. This is another free play. I'm giving you first of all, I got the free crypto chat anyway. Y'all can join that under the YouTube link below, or just head to the website if you actually want to join my Signals chat, the official Signals chat. It's literally only going to be open now from February to June, and then we're retiring from calling Signals and calling trades and just focusing more on the teaching side of things. But for right now, crypto chat, this is what I'm leaving y'all with. Take this Bitcoin buy setup the next time the market pushes up, because this is the next trade I'm gonna be in. All right. Until next time. Peace out.